a Retail Biz Strategist, and today I want to talk to you about the 3 apps that will put you on the path to business freedom. Now, for so many retailers in fact, let's face it, for so many people in business, there is just never enough time to get through that to-do list on any given day. Now, all of this leads to frustration, overwhelm, anxiety, and a feeling of constantly being pressured, which, do you know what, it all kind of adds up to having a subconscious sense of failure. Now, when you're in this mind space, you find yourself short-tempered, you find yourself snapping at little things that really shouldn't bother you, and taking out your frustration not only at yourself, but also on those who are around you, right? Who hasn't experienced that? Who hasn't found themselves snapping at the poor cashier at the grocery store because they'd sold out of your favorite chocolate? Or, I'm guilty of this one, writing a very snarky email to a retailer because your order just wasn't delivered in a super timely fashion, or in my case, it just wasn't delivered at all. Whilst we know that we shouldn't be lashing out on the nearest person, it's normal to want to vent our frustrations, right? Because it all occurs because we just didn't get that to-do list crossed off today, or yesterday, or the day before. So I'd like to share with you 3 apps that will actually put you on the path to business success. And whilst time is, it's such a precious commodity that you know that you're lacking it, or you wouldn't be here today to learn those 3 apps. If you actually prioritize and implement these 3 apps, you will actually set up your business life. You'll be able to stop frittering around from task to task, and you'll feel more clear-headed and focused. I mean, hey, who doesn't want to feel more clear-headed and focused and not rely on coffee to get us through the day? But even yet, you aren't going to want to rip out the throat of the grocery store worker when you find that all the rotisserie chickens are sold out and you don't have a plan B for dinner. These 3 apps are not only going to help you up-level your retail store, but you're going to have to invest a little bit of time in them. But if you do, they're going to be your ticket to freedom. I promise you that. And the best part is they are free. So what are they? And if you've got any questions, if you're listening to this live on Facebook in the Bringing Business to Retail group, drop your questions into the comments. I'm happy to answer them. And if you're listening to this later on the podcast, feel free to come over to selinaknight.com and write your questions and I'll answer them there. So the first app that I have to share with you is a godsend. Oh my goodness, I don't think I could run my business without it. It's called Trello. Now, Trello is for those of us who like lists, or you know what, even lists with pictures, because you can put pictures in there. Inside of Trello, you can create boards. Now, think of them like individual whiteboards where you can add and you can remove anything that you like. Essentially, they're digital sticky notes. Hello, I'm looking over at my desk over there and there are sticky notes everywhere. So I need to use Trello more often myself. I do use it all the time now, but I probably need to be a little bit more vigilant about using it. And it can streamline your processes so much. But more importantly, for me, Trello operates as brain dump central. I get every client that I work with, and I can see that some of you are watching this live today, to create a board called My Brilliant Ideas. I have one too. And every time that you get a great idea, it has to go on the board. But you cannot take action for at least 24 hours. And this stops time and money being wasted on that whole shiny new object syndrome, and it forces you to focus on the tasks at hand. So when you've got your to-do list or your Trello board of all the things that you need to do, you need to focus on that. And so often when we're working, what happens is something else pops up as a result. And so you go off and do that thing, and you go off and do that thing. And that leaves you with your to-do list that's not being ticked off, and you end up with frustration. So anything that you would normally jot down on to-do list, it can be with you wherever you go, because Trello isn't just a computer-based program. I'm actually just going to pull it up. It is on the home screen of my computer, of my phone, because I use this so often. Now you can see my most used boards actually sit at the top. Now obviously if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see it. I might pop some screenshots in over on the website. But my top one is groceries. My second one is brilliant ideas, because that means I use it quite a lot. The next one is my to-do list, tasks Sal needs to do now. And then my other one is my South Coast holiday house and all the things I need to do while we're renovating that property. Now I also have other boards. I think I have about 30 or 40 boards in total, but these are my top 4 boards. And I use them literally, dozens of times every single day. So if you're not using Trello, I urge you to start. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything to give it a go. So what I like even better about Trello is it's not just on your computer and it's not just on your phone, but there's this fabulous Chrome extension. So if you use the Chrome browser, you can just go into extensions. In fact, just Google Trello Chrome extension and you click a button and it installs it into your browser. And whilst I can't show you now because I'm using my computer, it just sits a little icon right up in the top right hand corner, and any page that you are on the web, whether it's Pinterest, whether it's your favorite blog, whether it's your grocery shopping, literally with just one click on the little Trello icon, you choose the board you want to add it to, and whammo, it sucks the information out into the board, so it's there. Now, this was fantastic when I was doing my renovations. I'm just going to pull up one of the boards so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. It just is a really good example, better than my to-do list. But one of mine is the South Coast holiday house. So what I was doing is, as I was shopping for tiles and vanities, I just literally clicked the Chrome extension and it sucked them into the Trello board. So at my fingertips, I had each room defined and what the tiles were going to look like and what the vanity was going to look like. And this is the best thing about Trello. Not only is it free, now I don't get anything for telling you about Trello. I just want you to be on the path to business success. I just think it is one of my most favorite apps. Best thing is you can actually share it. So whether you are sharing the grocery board with your husband so he doesn't have to call you, or your partner so they don't have to call you when they're in the grocery store saying, do we need anything on my way home? Or whether it's tasks for your freelancer, odd jobs that you need your kids to do, because this is a way to gamify the whole getting kids to do chores. I've got a little one of my boards is tasks for my daughter to do, and there's a little price next to them, so she can flick through on her iPad when she wants to earn some extra money and do some of those chores. So whether you just need it to prioritize and share what you're doing with other people, or if you just need a brain dump, Trello is the free app that can help you regain your sanity. Trust me, once you get used to it, you will love it and you will want to tell everybody about it, which is why so many people who use Trello, the first thing they say is, Trello, that's my favorite app. Okay, the next one is Jing. The real key to a smaller to-do list, because that's going to get you one step closer to freedom, yeah? You can still have that giant list, but the way that you're going to tick it all off is to make that to-do list smaller. So the real key is to have systems and guides. And I can tell you from personal experience that deciding to write a process for everything in your store can and will take months, potentially even years. The longer you leave it, the longer it's going to take, because your business grows. So in order to free up some of that time and to get your systems in ship shape, you can use free product called Jing, J-I-N-G, to record anything that is computer screen based. So Jing is like a little app that sits in the background, and when you want to activate it, you just click a button and it will come up and you can choose how much of your screen you want it to record. So if you don't want to see the URL bar and all that kind of stuff, if you just want the middle of the screen, you can just choose the section that you want it to record. And not only does it record your screen, but you can actually record your voice as well. So you can walk the watcher through the exact steps that they need to take when they're using a computer program or any online system. You could use this to go through your wholesale, when you go through your wholesaler's orders. You can just set it up so that anything that is computer-based, they can watch it first, because screen-based tasks are much easier to follow in real time when you can actually see how they flow and the buttons that they have to press and where they are located on the screen. It's so much easier than actually constantly referring back to a paper-based manual to see, click the green button right at the bottom. You may have to scroll down a little bit in order to get there. Your team are going to love you for it, even if you don't have a team yet. So none of these things are over the top. They don't take hardly any effort to install, literally like one click. So once you've kind of got your to-do list a little bit more organized, and once you've started to record some processes, my number 3 app is Google Sites Intranet. Now, once you've got those guides and those systems, you need a central place to put it all, and preferably a place that can be accessed from anywhere in the world by anyone with access to the internet. Whether you've got a virtual assistant overseas, or you're a freelance graphic designer, or you've got a new person that you're bringing on board, you want them to be able to access it wherever they are. So storing them on your hard drive is a great backup option, but you don't want to require someone to actually have to come into your office or into your store just so that their training can get underway. So enter Google Sites Intranet. It's another free tool by the peeps at Google that will revolutionize your business. Now, even if you just start small, it's out of the box. You just, you go to Google Intranet, Google Sites, click Intranet. You can choose to design it all yourself, or you can just pull out a stock standard template and customize the colors to look and feel with your brand. But an intranet, if you don't know what one is, it's kind of like the internet, but it's globally accessible, but it's only available to those that you allow access to. So it's kind of like a hidden little internet. And you can, the good thing about Google Sites is that you can add your Google Calendar in, which is great for rostering. So everybody can see who's working at any one time. Great if you've got casual staff, they can move their times around or they're with each other without actually having have to come to you, and you can just log in and see who's working at any time. And it even has a chat function. So instead of having email here, there and everywhere, what you can do is just use the Google Chat function inside Google Sites Intranet. And this is free. This is free software that big businesses pay tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to actually set up. And I want to finish off by saying that the easiest way to have a to-do list that gets crossed off every single day is to have less tasks on it. And on that list should only be the jobs that you have to be doing. The stuff that you can outsource to somebody else, or the stuff that you can delegate to somebody else, should be on another list. And then you can send that board to them, that Trello board to them, and get them to manage it. You can still see it, but it's up to them to manage it. So even if you're not yet at the stage of being able to outsource or hire any new team members, if you take the time now to spend an hour or two each week using these 3 free apps, it will put you on the path to business freedom. I promise you, because as much as systems and processes are not sexy, they are the key to having your time back, personal freedom, financial freedom in your business, growth in your business, and above and beyond all, your sanity. Now, I also have some free resources, other resources that I love to share with you. I'll give you my free guide, my 14 resources that I used every day in my retail stores, free apps and free programs that you can use online that will actually help you systemize your business. So if you're here on the Facebook Live, give me a few minutes after the live. There's a few questions coming in right now. If you're here, I'm going to pop that into the chat after this. But if you're listening on the podcast in a week's time, then head on over to selinaknight.com/BBTRTV, so Bring Business to Retail TV, which is where you'll see the video as well. And I'll pop the link over there for you to grab my 14 resources that I use every single day in my retail store. And it's going to help you up level your business. It's going to help you move up the path to business and financial freedom. And that is what I'm all about. I'm here to help you systemize your business, to get the foundations in place, to put your marketing in place, to obtain personal and financial freedom. So thanks very much. And now I'm going to go over to the questions. So Michelle is, have you worked with, she's worked with Google for over a decade and didn't know that Google Intranet existed. Thank you. You're welcome. It's a fantastic, the Google suite of products is absolutely amazing. What they have to offer, usually for free, is stuff that big business often build on. So you can pay for some Google stuff, but they have so much in there for the small business. It's not just all about Gmail, which is and Google search, which is what everybody thinks of. But Google Sites, it's called, and you choose the intranet feature. You can build a website on Google. Let's not go there. Today we're talking about apps that will give you business and financial freedom. That Google Intranet was critical in me being able to expand my business to more than one store, and not just the online store, but to have other physical stores, because it meant that we got to the point where we implemented a 3-day training program, which is amazing, to onboard a complete staff member from go to woe and ready to work in the store on their own in just 3 days. And they weren't even 3 full days. They were 2 half days and then a full day with training. And then after that, they were actually confident enough to work in the store on their own, because they knew that pretty much any question that they had, the answer was on the intranet. How do I do a refund? What to do when you get an angry customer? How do I upload a product onto the website? What do I do if a product is out of stock? All those questions were on our intranet. And I'll admit, it took 3 of us who were working in the store, in the first store, about 12 to 18 months to implement all of those processes. But the great thing is, when you train your staff to do this, it gets them to the point where, they might go back and refresh themselves on, maybe they haven't done something for a while, and they'll see that maybe a system has changed. They'll see that, maybe you were going through a wholesaler's website and the buttons have moved around. And they actually get it in their head to update the process themselves. So not only are you giving them autonomy, but you're giving them a sense of ownership of the business. And I would literally get to the point where I would walk in and someone would say, oh, I went through such and such process and I noticed that it's changed, but don't worry, I've already updated the intranet. And it just meant that having that sense of ownership within the business really transforms the way that your staff work for you. Now, that's probably a subject for a completely different day, but I will say that Google Intranet was the key piece of, the key app, the key piece of the puzzle that it took for me to grow my business to have more than one store. Now, if you've got any more questions, feel free to pop them in the chat and I'll come back and answer them. Or if you're listening a little bit later on the podcast, head on over to selinaknight.com/BBTRTV and I'll answer your questions over there. But for now, have a fantastic Wednesday. Remember that I am committed to doing these Facebook Lives pretty much at 12:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time is what we're on at the moment on a Wednesday. And if you've got a topic that you would love me to cover, feel free, email me or pop it in the chat, because most of the things that I talk about are things that come up with my clients, or come up in business in general. So if you've got a topic you'd love me to cover, a bit of an ask me anything kind of scenario, pop it in the chat and I will chat to you soon. But for now, have a fantastic Wednesday. I'll see you next week. Be profitable.